Welcome to Tech Now, and we're joined by Russ Roberts, CATA's Senior Vice President of Advocacy. Russ has been making presentations on the pre-budget consultations that the Ontario government now has underway. I know we're quite interested in the transformational aspects of that. We're interested in the funding pool that's been established in order to facilitate and catalyze key markets and key technologies. So Russ, why don't you first of all set the context a bit? You know, you've been doing this for many years. I know we consulted with the government folks in 2013. There's a bit of a history here. Give us some context before we drill into some of the specifics that you raised at the meetings.
Well, for years, John, our focus has been the R&D tax credits. And where the program has got to, the SHRED program, the R&D tax credit program, is that it is narrower than it had been previously. And it is somewhat of a forced fit for many in the ICT sector to make it work for them. The firms that it works for, it works very well for. The other firms, they have a lot of comment about how it doesn't fit into where they're going. The companies that are building their businesses on creating really neat apps, neat applications, and building a business around it and the commercialization, that is where the force fit takes place if it can be done at all. So the question that we've been looking at from a contextual point of view is, where do we go next? How do we really take advantage of the transformations that the digital economy are promoting?
So are you saying, I know they have, I believe it's called the Prosperity Fund. You might let us know a bit about that. So are you saying that has to be tweaked, that isn't the proper vehicle to drive some of these technologies forward? What exactly is going on there?
It may be exactly the right vehicle. I don't know what is in Ontario, what is the right vehicle. What we can see from the 2013 budget and the 2014 budget is that the Ontario government is trying to look outward, is looking at their whole portfolio and how to make it more effective. One of the ways they have attempted to do this is this Prosperity Fund, Productivity Fund. It is kind of an interesting idea. It actually identifies specific streams for funding. What we are actually suggesting is that a fund be created that supports really neat projects, the ones that really stand out for digital transformational driven commercialization in businesses. That's what we'd like to see. It can be within the context of a new stream within this fund, or it could be a new fund focused on digital transformations.
Now, how big is this fund? Like, how many dollars are we talking about here?
Well, over 10 years, they've committed $2.5 billion. But I think, thinking about it, with the amount of change that has occurred in the tax credits, there should be more money available to focus on the ICT sector. I mean, this is one of the sectors that really has taken a hit with the changes that the federal government had put into this program. So there should be money on the table that's through the reduction in SHRED that could be brought to bear on this issue and to funds in this area.
So in other words, it's another way of accelerating innovation. I believe you raised some specific points on two key areas close to our heart, healthcare and automotive. Are those, I want to call them transformational areas, are those significant areas of opportunity?
Of course they are. They're really good examples of where excellent projects could be developed or proposals could be developed. Certainly CATA is working on proposals in those areas, and we are hoping that they can be developed either in the context of a new fund or a new stream like this, or that both the federal and provincial governments will see the necessity of supporting areas like this and the businesses that are willing to participate and work together in strategic relationships that can lead to full commercialization.
Well, Russ, advocacy is a process. You've consulted with some key thought leaders. You've certainly done considerable research which validates and really strengthens our voice. So what do you see as some of the next steps? I mean, you spoke about, I know we tabled a brief. What are you doing next to advance some of these ideas?
Well, we will be taking the brief that we put together and amplifying on a little bit and resubmitting that to the Ontario government just to make sure we've put our stake in the ground on the issue. The next stage is to trying to get a dialogue going. One of the things I did say to the minister was that we know that the whole framework for commercialization, for the way businesses grow their businesses here, the businesses tell us and that it isn't as efficient as it should be. It's not as effective as it should be. I don't think either you and I have seen the solution yet. On the other hand, the discussion needs to take place how to improve the environment so that businesses grow and keep on growing and not simply sell them off early. And that is a critical issue, and we are hoping to see that discussion take place this year. And you and I both are working on trying to find a way of encouraging that. And that was, we mentioned that, and we invited the Ontario government to participate in such a discussion.
Well, you know, Russ, those words, they apply to Ontario, they apply to all the provinces, they apply to Canada. We don't want to be selling things off too early before we realize all the impact. We want more flagships. So thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for advancing advocacy to make Canada a competitive innovation nation. And we'll be attaching, some of the updates to the various communiques that CATA sends out. We ask all members to help us advance this messaging because we all win if we're successful. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, John.